It is a lovely but cold spring morning here at Site B. We're taking a walk, try and get some sun, maybe pick up a few sundries, and it's Tuesday, so it's time to, review some stuff and take a look at another list of weird comments from the interweb. Mostly relating to 5e versus D&D. The continuing need for this group of 5e players to try and lord over how 5e is better than 40 some odd years of tabletop role-playing game history and the millions of other games that existed before and during 5e and the millions of other games that will exist after 5e. Now, the problem with these individuals who do these attacks on other gamers that don't play 5e is, one, they seem to operate under assumption that there were no games in existence before 5e, and the only people that play are 5e players. Everybody who doesn't play 5e is somehow lesser than them and not as good as them. It's generally a us versus them club that they keep to one to perpetuate. I assume it's because how they get clicks, right? Waving the 5e versus everyone is either going to get you a lot of hate clicks or a lot of, yeah, I totally agree clicks. So, I don't know what these people actually really believe, and they've just decided to adopt this I hate any game that isn't 5e mentality. Of course, the other problem is most of these people haven't bothered to research the hobby, the history of the hobby, or even really have any idea what 5e is. I read these comments, I listen to these vlogs, and, I try and remain unbiased. And I came up, most of the time I come away from the conclusion of, did you actually read 5e? Or are you just making stuff up based upon other stuff? Like last week when we did the carrot cake thing. Now there was a blog that somebody posted, very well thought out, that both praised 5e and also praised the OSR. And then the vlog I was referring to, basically the guy used this as an excuse to once again attack the OSR and anybody that wasn't playing 5e and how 5e was better based upon this article. But had the guy actually read the article, he would have seen that no, that wasn't the point of the article the gentleman in question wrote, and he didn't in fact read it at all. He just wanted to attack 5e and used this article as an excuse. So I believe is random. I gotta believe that some of these people who have adopted the 5e versus everyone mentality haven't read 5e. So let's go down this week's list of weirdness. I don't know if I'm going to address all of them because one of them is just so stupid. But I'll address a couple of the ones. So every version before 5th edition was just a tactical miniature game. 5th edition is the first edition of any game that allows social interaction and role-playing. Even the previous editions of Dungeons & Dragons were just tactical miniature games, and 5e isn't. Except, of course, if you'd read the rules, you would know that, yeah, it's still the same. It hasn't changed. Dungeons & Dragons is basically still a tactical miniature game that just happens to have the idea of role-playing. Okay. And this goes on to, of course, the whole stupid social interaction thing, that because there were these social interaction rules in Strixhaven. Never before in the history of role-playing. 47 years. Millions of players all across the world. Millions of games that aren't Dungeons & Dragons. None of us were ever role-playing or engaging in the pillars of social interaction. Strixhaven is the first book to ever introduce the thought, and 5th edition is the first game to ever encourage or have this, which of course is a downright lie, because one, the pillars of social action are not an original idea. They are blatantly stolen from previous editions of different products and games and psychology and stuff, so that's not new. Two, no, the idea of social interaction in role-playing has existed before 5th edition, has existed before Strixhaven. Side note, Strixhaven, of course, being the worst selling and worst reviewed 5e product that Wizards of the Coast has come out with, including 5e players, okay? 5e players don't like Strixhaven. So the idea of social interaction, the pillars of social interaction existed long before Strixhaven, long before 5e, long before even Vampire the Masquerade, going all the way back to games like Amber Diceless and Theatrics, and even before that, because all the, the idea of you can role play your character, you can have social interactions, you can have games where there was no combat. I mean, that's going all the way back to the, the early 70s. Even back then, people were like, well, can I go shopping? Can I talk to an NPC? Can I, get married? I remember games in the 70s and 80s where we would do Christmas games where there was no combat and the characters all had to go shopping and get Christmas presents and maybe solve a Christmas themed miracle or mission or something. But yeah, so that's not new. And this is just, again, these people poking the bear to fly this 5e is better than every other game. There's never been another game before 5e. Anybody who plays any game besides 5e is pretty much suck. Now, I hate to get up on my shut the fuck up. Toadstool, not, I don't think that's the word. Soapbox here, but okay. Tabletop role-playing game of the year 2020. Best role-playing game in the world. Awards from Gamma and Ennies and all the people who actually matter was not 5th edition. In fact, 5th edition did not win any awards in 2021. Here we are in 2022. 5th edition, again, not even nominated for awards. I think I went the wrong way. This has got to cut through, right? So again, you don't know what you're talking about. It is not the best role-playing game in the world. It's not the most anticipated role-playing game. It's only barely still the number one selling role-playing game. So trying to pick these fights of how 5e is better is just dumb. Okay, these are not original ideas. Role-playing existed before 5e. The pillars of social action existed before 5e. The idea of non-combat conflict resolution existed before 5e. So just stop it. If you're gonna, write articles and make vlogs about how bad the rest of us are, and 5e is the holy savior of role-playing after 40 some odd years of the hobby, at least take some effort, you fucking mark, to do the work. All right, moving on to the next stupid thing. And again, this seems to be about 5e, but this one, the guy is basically saying how to cheat to get what you want out of the Dungeon Master. How to hack your dungeon master to get the treasure you want. Cheat. So this is going, I think, back to the whole player agency, fudging, rule of cool. Should players fudge? Should players cheat? And this guy's basically saying, here, go ahead, 5th edition, get what you want, cheat. Hack the game. There's a magic item you want, here's a way to hack the game so you get it. First, why? Why cheat in D&D? Oh, yes, you've somehow found a way to get a copy of a magical device in a make-believe game that has absolutely no effect on your real life whatsoever. Yay. Now, I usually operate under 2 or 3 different ways to do treasure. One is give them what they want, but not necessarily the way they want it. You know, if it seems like there's something really excited about, you know, like some magic item they've always wanted to see, I'll be like, okay, I see what you want, and I'll throw in something like it, but not exactly like it. Because, you know, God, there's a lot of these libraries here. I gotta mess with you a little. And then, of course, the second school of thought is just random, dude. I just roll random tables. Or if I'm using a pre-published adventure, that's what's listed, you know. I do have the random I search the body charts. So yeah, that's, you know, usually the 2 ways you're gonna get treasure are either what's printed in the adventure I'm running, dog not on leash, I wonder if I should be worried. What way randomly generated, or I'll give you what you want, but not necessarily the way you want it. Now, if you've got some formula to cheat at D&D 5e so you can get a magic item instead of just asking, hey DM, I'd really like to get this, is there any way it might show up in the game at some point in time? Good on you, dude. I hope you feel really, really good sitting at home justifying cheating at D&D just so you could get an extra plus whatever on your character. Ooh, big man, girl, whatever. I don't know. Why be stupid? It's a game. Stop it. All right, I'm looking at my list. We did social interaction. We did why bother cheating. And okay, now the other one that's going around, the third bit of what's going around is somehow people are tying the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation with 5th edition, and somehow the Will Smith, Chris Rock situation justifies 5e good and other games bad. So these people are basically saying what Will Smith did was okay. Will Smith is representing 5th edition, and by going up and slapping Chris Rock and then saying, keep my wife's name out of your blank. Well, Will Smith is 5th edition. Chris Rock is every game other than 5th edition, the OSR, which we know OSR bad, 5e good. And that assault justifies saying 5e is better than the other game. Will Smith is 5e. Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Chris Rock is every other game that isn't 5e. By slapping Chris Rock, he is somehow saying 5th edition is a better game than any other game. So that's what Will Smith is saying. So somehow these idiots are taking this bizarre, ridiculous, tragic, unnecessary, pointless assault and using it to justify their continuation of attacking players who don't play 5e, as if somehow Will Smith represents 5e and Chris Rock represents every other game besides 5e, and by slapping Chris Rock, Will Smith is saying play 5e. Look, I know you want to milk the clicks, and the Will Smith thing is on the top of everybody's, to-do list to talk about. We got the Will Smith thing, we got the Ukraine thing, we got what's ever going on, conservatives versus liberals thing, and then we've got JoJo Swain who cut off her hair thing. Each one of those are things you could probably have found a way to feed into a talk about Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing, which of course has nothing to do with Will Smith. And I suppose you could use anything to justify your stupidity. So I get it. You're trying to milk the Will Smith credibility, the Will Smith thing, while it's still hot. Ooh, look, I'm talking about Will Smith and I'm bagging on the OSR. I am smart. And I suppose whatever the next controversial moment in media history that comes up will also be your reason that somehow the war in Ukraine justifies that 5e is better than the OSR. Transgender rights, trying to take transgender rights. That is, again, the world saying 5. I mean, you're just going to keep doing this. And it's stupid and it's insulting, okay? Chris Rock, Will Smith, absolutely nothing to do with role-playing. Not even sure either of them do role-play. But what happened has nothing to do with the OSR or 5e, so just stop it, okay? Stop making videos about cheating and fudging and rule of cool. Stop making videos where you attack the OSR and play the stupid, oh, the OSR, they never role played, we're the first to role play, because that's stupid and that's an outright lie. And to use the Will Smith thing, not only is that stupid, it's wrong, and it's just pointless, and it is not getting you any bonuses. Look, again, if your platform is 5e D&D is better than every other game, and that's how you're going to get those hate clicks and the algorithm is by being the 5e face and the heel to every other game. If you want to be the MJF or the Ric Flair and have 5e be the best, at least do the work. I mean, come on, I'm not the most accurate news guy. I make mistakes all the time, and I do embellish things for the sake of sarcasm or comedy, but I'm not going to make stupid, pointless, non-researched blog posts about things unless I could back up my stupid blog posts. Now look, if you've got a way to back up and prove that 5e is better, great, prove it. Provide me with empirical proof. If you have a way to prove that Will Smith attacking Chris Rock does in fact prove that 5th edition is better than every other game ever played by anyone on the planet, great, prove it. Empirical proof. And I will be the first to apologize. I will be the first to say, I'm sorry, you were right, I was wrong, thank you for opening my eyes. From this point on, I will just do whatever you say because you were right. But until then, shut up. Stop it. Okay, all you're accomplishing is, this is not where I thought it was. I went way the wrong direction. All you're accomplishing is just generating heat for the sake of heat, and you're not going to get what you want. Okay? If your goal is to get more clicks, great. Just do the work. Do the work, okay? Prove it. Prove 5th edition is the first game to have the social interaction, and there was never any social interaction in any game before 5e. Great, prove it. Empirical proof. Prove it. Interview every single solitary person that has ever played the game from day one to today. Any game, not just D&D, every game ever, every person ever. Interview them, and if you can find empirical proof that, yep, nobody was role-playing until 5e and Strixhaven, and there was no social interaction in any game up until now, great. I will be the first to say you're right. Until then, shut up. Stop it. Grow up. Stop trying to pick fights without, you don't have a monkey in this fight, so stop it. Anyways, that's it for today. I'm sure I'll find something else to be upset about, but that's the number one thing I'm upset about this week. And I feel like I talk about these topics a lot. But then I guess I'm giving the people that make these posts what they want because I'm, paying attention to them and I'm commenting on them. But, it's my job as your friendly neighborhood OGM to try and provide some level of normalcy and relevancy and just stop it, please. Just stop. Will Smith attacking Chris Rock has nothing to do with 5th edition. I'm sorry. Stop it.